What's up, guys? So I'm standing underneath the Soarer. You guys probably can't see me, but I'm gonna get into some light here. All right, so we got some new GoPro batteries. We got a 128 gigabyte card. So I think we're good. We're not gonna fill this stuff up and we'll be able to film all this. But what we're going after today is we actually have to remake that entire section all the way up to this flange. So basically the Y pipe that you saw us make is going to take the place of that Y pipe right there, and then we're going to bring pretty much the stock location. We got to kind of keep it in this area just because there are some little notch outs right here that will allow us to get that pipe up a little bit higher. With a 3-inch pipe and this car being bagged, when it goes low, you can already see right here that it is touching the downpipe a little bit when it's scraping on the ground. So this is kind of the lowest part, and we want to try to keep the rest of this exhaust system up as high as possible. So when we come in here with this Y pipe, what we're probably going to do is get the Y pipe right here, and we'll put a pie cut in right before it and kind of kick it up a little bit so that we have some upward momentum. Once we get that upward momentum, we'll see what happens. You know, we may actually be able to just push this up. Well, no, we can't, because we got some really tight clearances here between this bolt. So this can't go up anymore. So we are definitely going to have to maybe kick this just a little bit up, and this one is currently kicked up just a hair, so it kind of rolls up at the end. So we'll probably just end up doing that. But for right now, what we're going to do is we're going to get this stock exhaust system off of here. Once we get this exhaust system off of here, we will be able to kind of start mocking up our stuff. And you know, sometimes I really wish that I lived in an area where you could have a 25-year-old car and the bolts on your exhaust aren't even rotted. It literally just took me 10 minutes to get this whole exhaust system off of here. So now that it's off of the car, you can truly see how anemic that tubing is. Actually, do I have a piece of 3-inch? Yeah, I do. Go grab a piece of 3-inch and we'll put it next to it. Let's see. Or do we not have a piece of 3-inch? All right, so there's a piece of 3-inch. So we'll show you guys how small this exhaust actually is on this car. Just a slight difference. 3-inch versus, I don't know, what's that, 1.25 inches maybe? Something like that. So we are basically going to recreate this setup, but we're going to do it with 3-inch, and we're going to do it with a whole bunch of pie cuts. So should be super interesting. But now what we have to do first is we've got the existing downpipe, which is right there. We've got a 2-bolt flange that we ordered, so we got to come from there, and we're going to come all the way out to about here, and then we're going to kick that Y bend up a little bit, and then we'll come off, try to come through this area here. So basically it'll come off of the Y. I don't know if you could picture it, but it'll go right in this area right here, which is a nice little pocket for it. Then we're gonna kick it and bring it underneath here. And then we're gonna come this way, we'll kick it over this way, and then come straight out here. And then we're gonna turn it a little bit and then out the tips. So let me go grab one of the tips and we'll see how they look in the bumper. I'm sure they're gonna look amazing. Well, we'll grab one of these big boys. Let's see how they fit. Oh. Ho, ho, ho. So yeah, that's gonna be pretty sick. So they're gonna sit about like that. And we're gonna rotate them just a hair outwards so that they kind of match with the way the bumper is. But you can see that that is going to be absolutely gnarly. So let's get to making that piece. And there is our centerpiece. Now I have to say, guys, in doing all this crazy welding and, you know, all the pie cuts and everything else, I honestly have to say that my favorite type of weld to do is a flange weld. And I just love the way that these welds actually come out. the way that they look. They're just so clean, and you can be so precise with them. And it's kind of nice doing, you know, a fillet weld on a flange, because you can really control everything. The argon coverage is really, really good, and they just come out incredible. So I guess if I had to pick what I'd like to do all day long, is it would probably be a flange weld, because they're just absolutely gorgeous. So we're going to take this thing now, we're going to go put it over on the car, and then we're going to start figuring out, you know, what we need coming off of here and here, and then what kind of bends we need. All right, guys, so we've been grinding hard on this thing. We actually spent all last night finish welding the midsection, getting some more stuff figured out, getting pipes pointed in the right direction. But before we get into where the car's at now and I show you guys where we've gotten to, I kind of wanted to give you, I got indigestion, something fierce this morning. I wanted to kind of give you guys an idea of why pie cuts. And I know a lot of you guys are asking this question all the time, and you know, it's more expensive, it's more labor, it's more this, it's more that. And there's a couple of different reasons why pie cuts are used, and the number one reason, quite honestly, is just the look of it. So when you're going for a certain look on a certain vehicle, and you know, I call it the SEMA look. You know, you're looking for something that stands out and something that really, really looks good when you look at the car, something that draws your attention to the car. And when you see something like that sticking out of the back end of the car, it kind of gets you wondering. And I mean, you know, you take a look on the inside of this tubing, and you can see that on the inside of that tubing, the welds look just as nice as they do on the outside of the tubing. So some pretty cool stuff going on. So that's the number one reason, is just pure aesthetics. I mean, it, you know, some people hate it, some people love it, but for the most part, it's literally just to make things look cool. And you'll see it a lot with, you know, titanium stuff, stainless stuff, and usually see it on cars that are not necessarily daily drivers, or, you know, some show cars and things of that nature. So a lot of it is just looks. Now, one of the reasons that I particularly like pie cuts, this is my number two reason why I use them, is they're free practice. So when you start welding for the first time, and you start welding tube for the first time, one of the things that you're going to notice is you're going to be very inconsistent with your welding. You know, you may weld a piece of tube and it comes out absolutely amazing, and then you weld a piece of tube and it comes out absolutely terrible. So your consistency when you're first starting out in the TIG welding game is going to be off. And you know what, even still to this day, I've been TIG welding for years now. To this day, I still have off days. I still have bad days. I have days where I can't weld for crap. And what these pie cuts do for me is they allow me to practice. So when someone books a job with me and they want all pie cuts, I'm thrilled and over the moon, because technically I'm getting paid to practice. And you know, practicing is one of the key ingredients when it comes to becoming a good TIG welder. And you know what, the funny thing is if you talk to any of the big name welders out there, across Instagram and YouTube and everything else, they will tell you, I still mess up every day. And that is true. You know, no matter how good you get, you're still going to have bad days, off days, whatever else. And I, as a welder of many years, are still learning something new every time I go through this. So my number two reason for doing these pie cuts is that they are free practice. Welding several beads on a single piece of tubing where they all have to be consistent and all have to match so that it doesn't look ridiculous is hard, very, very difficult. So again, number two reason, free practice. Now the number three reason is just versatility. So when you get into some of these smaller cars, some of these Japanese cars that came from the factory with 1.5 inch exhaust on them, and it's tucked up in every little nook and cranny of the car, it runs down the tunnel, and you know, these cars are low as hell to the ground. One of the things that we need pie cuts for is to be able to get that 1.5 degrees here, 2 degrees here, 4 degrees there, so that we can snake these exhaust systems in areas where they're not supposed to be. So on this car, for instance, those rear pipes, I think were 1.25 inches. We're going to 3 inch. This car is bagged. It's slammed to the ground. We need to keep every little bit of ground clearance we possibly can. So utilizing pie cuts, I can move the exhaust system that inch this way, inch that way, 1/4 inch this way, to get everything tucked up into place where it needs to be so that he's not ripping the exhaust off the car every time he drives it. That's the number 3 reason, is just versatility. Getting into tight spaces, making tight bends, making bends that you normally couldn't with just, you know, your typical mandrel bent stuff, because with your mandrel bent stuff, you're kind of stuck at what you can do with all this, where, you know, if you need this bend to go off in that direction, then you need to cut this and you need to make it look like a sink trap. And once it looks like a sink trap, it's always going to look like a sink trap. But if you make a sink trap out of pie cuts and you go that way, it's going to look absolutely incredible. So versatility is the number 3 reason. And then, you know what, I think that's probably the top 3 reasons why I use pie cuts, or why they're used. And, you know, number 1 is the aesthetics and how they look. I think they look amazing. A lot of other people think they look amazing. Number 2 is the free practice. Practicing on these things is so great. Being able to do that over and over and over, that repetition builds muscle memory, and, you know, kind of gives your whole body a chance to acclimate to doing this stuff on a regular basis. And then number 3 is just the versatility. You know, you have a very unlimited way of mounting things and moving things around and creating angles that didn't exist and creating compound bends and all kinds of other stuff without much of an issue. So now that that's all been said and we kind of explained a little bit about these pie cuts, let me go through just really quick what I'm doing welding settings, and then we'll go take a look at the car, because I get a lot of questions about what my welder's set at. So for doing these pie cuts with this stainless bronze material, it's 65 thousandths thick. I tend to use 65 amps. I end up somewhere around 2/3 to 3/4 pedal. So I would imagine anywhere from 45 to 60 amps is about what I'm welding at, and then just manipulating heat with the pedal as I need it. I use 35 thousandths 308 stainless filler wire. Now that filler wire, I've always grown accustomed to it. Some people use 45 thousandths, which is a little bit bigger, but I found for me with 45 thousandths, I tend to build too high of a bead with it. So I ended up going with 35 thousandths, and I'm much more comfortable with that. But it all kind of just goes on, you know, what you feel is good for your style of welding. Now, as far as, you know, the torch setup, I've got the M Furic BBW glass cup. I've got 330 seconds, 2% lanthanated tungsten, and the system is water cooled. I'm using a CK number 20 water cooled torch, and that's just the setup that I've always used. The 330 seconds is very versatile. I can, you know, weld all the way up to 220, 250 amps with it without a problem, and I can weld down as low as 10 or 20 amps if I need to, without having to change tungsten sizes in between. So it's just something that I've always used, and what we've been going on to. Now, another couple of guys asked me, why am I using my 3M speed glass again and not the Optrel? Well, I love the Optrel, but you can see the lens on the speed glass is nice and clean. However, the Optrel is a nightmare. The last, I don't know, 8 or 9 Jeeps that I did, told myself I wasn't going to use the Optrel because I didn't want to damage the lenses and stuff, but the Optrel is so comfortable and so light compared to the speed glass that I just tend to use it all the time. So now I need to order all new consumables for this helmet. Optrel, if you're watching this, could really use a crystal. But the Panoramax is great. So that's it for that setup. A little bit of explanation there. So now what we're going to do is I'll take you guys over to the car and we'll check out the progress on that. All right, guys, so here we go. This is the downpipe that was on it. Actually, mid-pipe that was on the car that Mike put on. And here is where our stuff starts. And this is what we've got so far. So currently, we're waiting on some pipe because we underestimated how much tubing we were actually going to need for this, especially the straight tubing. So we're waiting for some straight tubing. We're going to come out here, and I'm actually going to pop a V-band in right here, and we're going to pop another V-band in right here. And the reason we're doing that is twofold. Stainless steel, when it gets hot, likes to move around. Now, with an exhaust system this long, and the tips actually being all the way out to here, what's going to happen is as the system gets hot, these two tubes here are going to move in either direction. Now, I've seen them move as much as a ½ an inch to 3/4 of an inch under heat. So what we want is we want to stick a V-band in here, like right in this general area, so that we can adjust as the car heats up and cools off, because once the stainless goes through a few heat cycles, it usually normalizes and it stops doing what it was doing. So we'll put a couple of V-bands in here just so we can adjust these tips a little bit if need be. And also too, if Mike finds that this thing is too loud, because it is straight pipe, there are no mufflers going in this. If he finds that it's too loud, the V-bands that we're going to stick right here are going to allow us to actually put a muffler or a resonator or something in here in case he just doesn't like the sound of it. But I mean, it is a 1J. It's going to be a straight pipe 1J through 3-inch all the way back. Should sound pretty good, but just in case, we're going to stick some V-bands in there so we can pop some resonators in if we need to. But here's where we're at. So we did manage to gain all of our clearances around the diff bushings. We got clearances here. Our hangers are not done yet. We still do have to gusset them up to the other half of the pipe so that there's not a ton of stress right here. And we have to weld all this out. We still do have to weld out these pieces, but I'm going to actually wait until we get the new tubing and we can start manufacturing this side of the exhaust right here. And then we're going to weld everything out, put everything together, and we should be good. So that's where we're at with the car right now. And you can see it's pretty well symmetrical. It definitely does come around the diff nicely. Now the diff is off center, which is normal. So the pipes that you're seeing are perfectly centered on the rear cross member and then runs all the way down to the front. So far, everything's coming out perfectly. So now that you've seen the car, here's what's going on for the rest of the week. So Friday, we are flying down to Florida and we are attending Adam's open house. So for those of you who will be there, I will be there, Jimmy's going to be there, Mike's going to be there, obviously Adam's going to be there. There's going to be a whole bunch of us there. So if you happen to see me walking around, come up and say hello. We'll be down there for the open house on Sunday. And yeah, so it should be a good time. The parts for the Soarer, the rest of the materials are coming in on Monday or Tuesday. So we won't have another video on the Soarer until probably Monday or Tuesday, or maybe Wednesday even, once it's finished. In between, I'm going to take the GoPro with me. We'll have some videos from the open house, which should be pretty cool. So look forward to that, but you probably, again, won't see that until next week when I get back. Because we're only going down for the weekend, leaving Friday and coming back on Sunday. So should be a good time. Get away from this Connecticut weather for a little bit and, you know, go hang out with a bunch of friends, which is kind of funny because all of us from Connecticut are going to Florida and then we're all going to hang out in Florida, which works for me. So if you guys are going to be down there, I'll see you there. If you guys are not going to be there, then you'll see another video probably sometime next week. So have a good afternoon, everybody, and I will talk to you guys soon.